What is going on, everyone? It's Justin here, and welcome to a brand new home tech tour for 2021. So this is one of your favorite videos from last year where I showed you all the tech products that I'm currently using around the house. And if you've been following me on the channel for a while, you've seen the changes that I've made both in the renovation of the kitchen and the floors, changing up the bedrooms and decorating that, as well as the office updates for 2020. But overall, there are quite a few exciting pieces that I've added over the past year, so today we're gonna cover all of that. Just to summarize, I've redone the entire office into an ultimate large L-shaped desk, as well as a projector setup, and it looks completely different than it did last year. I've also added a new speaker in the living room, also the PS5, of course, that came out in the past year. The other thing is I've also actually moved my operations of video editing and filming over to a dedicated office space. I'm sure you guys have seen that series if you follow the channel. That is completely done, so it is finally my home. Whereas before it was just like full of all of the tech stuff that we reviewed, and the products would pile up into the living room, the hallway, the bedroom, and just all over the place. So now I at least have a bit of work-life separation, but I do still spend a ton of time in the office for video editing in the evening and on weekends. If you guys would like to win one item from this video, just make sure you follow me over on Instagram at justin.tse, subscribe to the channel, drop a like on this video, and leave a comment down below of your favorite item as well as your Instagram username, and I'll be picking a winner when this video hits 5,000 likes. As always, all the products I'm gonna be talking about are gonna be linked down below as well. So beginning on this side of the living room, there's actually a few different pieces, and this right here is the Sonos Arc. This is their brand new speaker that came out last year and is like a new version of their Playbar that's been around for many years. It's still really good. I use it in my home office actually, but what I picked up for the bedroom and also the living room is the brand new speaker, and it actually has 11 Class C amplifiers. So just on the number side of things, it's great, but it also has Dolby Atmos support, 3D sound, and just all the latest technologies as well as smart home capability. I know some people mentioned that I shouldn't have it behind me, but in this case, the living room is kind of in a layout where I feel like putting it behind can make sense. I just wanted to make use of the room back here. The way it connects to your TV is actually through ARC, so it is called the audio return channel. Some of the newer TVs have a specific audio return channel, but if it doesn't, then you can also use the optical adapter that they include. So yeah, you have a lot of options, and in terms of sound quality alone, this sounds impressive. So over to the media side of the living room, this TV right here is the Samsung QLED. And the reason why I've gone with OLED in the office and QLED in the home is simply because it is a really bright space and the sun is actually on that side for most of the day. So I needed a TV that was as bright as possible, but the OLED honestly does look really, really good as well. So I think it does come down to the purpose. And what I really like about Samsung's TVs is that they have that One Connect system. So with one fiber optic cable, it is actually able to go straight through the wall, and if you don't want to cut any holes, it is pretty invisible. But in my case, the holes were already pre-cut, so everything still goes through there, and all of the I/O is plugged into this Rove Concepts dresser right here. So now we're over in the media cabinet of the living room, and this is where a lot of the tech lives, both like inside and over here. You have the Sonos 3, which is a good home speaker, and I'm able to play music on both this and the soundbar at the same time. This is also TunePlayed, and I also have the PS5 controller charging station, and of course the Orbi Wi-Fi 6 mesh system and the satellite part of the mesh setup. The main setup is over in the office, and it has a direct line Ethernet to the computer, which is why the mesh system is over here, because usually when I'm in the living room, I'm on my phone and stuff. It's good to have good connectivity, but the maximum speed priority should be over in the office where all the work's being done. So I actually have a big hole cut in the back of this thing, and there's the One Connect system for the TV. There's also the power bar, and also the Philips Hue bridge and Sonos bridge, which is all in here, and it essentially powers the entire home tech setup to allow me to fast and reliably connect and control everything from my phone. In terms of gaming console, I currently use a PS5, and because I was a PS4 user, just based on personal preference, it was natural to go over to the PS5. So yeah, this is pretty much the media cabinet part of the living room, and for now, everything is able to fit inside nicely, but I may actually do like some custom millwork or shelving sometime next year. I'm not really sure yet. So the last item in the living room is one that kind of hides underneath the console table, and it really isn't needed, but I don't regret getting it. It was on a Black Friday pricing, and it is actually a scent diffuser. So one of my favorite hotels that I've ever stayed at is the Edition Hotel in Miami. We stayed there during NASCAR about a year and a half ago, and what I really noticed is that from the lobby to the rooms, there was just like a very distinct smell to it. And I noticed on their website, they actually sold the diffuser with the scent of the hotel. And it runs for about 300 hours, so a few months, give or take, maybe even longer. And you have all the customized settings on the back, depending on just how intense you want the smell to be. I have it set relatively subtle, so it comes on a few hours a day. Everyone who's come by has kind of noticed that it smells really good, so I do plan to get one for my retail store and also for my office sometime soon. So perhaps one of the biggest updates that I've made to my entire home tech setup for 2021 is in the Wi-Fi system. And this right here is the Orbi Wi-Fi 6 AX6000 mesh system from Netgear. When it comes to Wi-Fi 6, some of the devices that are currently supported that I own is the iPhone 12 Pro Max, some of the newest Android phones, and also the M1 MacBook Air. And with Wi-Fi 6, you're not only able to have a larger throughput of up to 9.6 gigabits per second compared to 3.5, and is also much more efficient in managing the traffic when you have many of them connected to the same Wi-Fi network. This router though is extremely powerful, and not only does it have a large satellite and is able to cover up to 5,000 square foot with the set, but it is actually able to reach speeds of up to 6 gigabits per second. Where I live, the fastest speed available is gigabit internet, and I can tell you that even through Wi-Fi on my iPhone 12, I'm able to get impressive speeds through the wireless connection. So the way that I have my Orbi system set up right now is that I have the main router in my home office, and I also have an Ethernet cord that is connected directly to the computer for the maximum speed. And in terms of the Wi-Fi connectivity, for the most part, I am using my phone in my office, so that is why the main router is right here. There's 4 Ethernet ports on the back, which is super handy, and I have the satellite one placed on the other side of the house where the living room and all the windows are, and from there it is able to repeat the signal and give me a strong connection. And from the Wi-Fi speed test, I'm still able to maintain a really impressive speed off the satellite. It also has 4 Ethernet ports, so I have my home tech connected to that, such as the Philips Hue, the Sonos Bridge, and also the PS5, just to give it a very reliable signal even from the satellite. So overall, this system has been perfect for my setup, and in a larger house that is significantly larger than the condo that I live in, it is still going to be able to perform very, very well. This was all super easy to set up, and you can also go to the Orbi app and customize anything that you would want, and also check the status and health of your Wi-Fi network at any time. So if you guys want to go ahead and check it out for yourself, I've also got a discount for you guys. I'm going to leave a link to everything down below. So in the dining table area, one of the only changes that I've made in the past year or so is in the dining room light. Before I had one that was like a gold LED Wayfair one, and it looked pretty decent, but it had like a weird color temperature that didn't really match the rest of the place, so I ended up selling it on Facebook, saw this one on sale, and I think it has a really cool look to it. I'm sure it's not the kind of design that everyone would like, but it's 4,000 Kelvin, it has tons of bulbs, and it also just kind of stays out of the way a little bit more as opposed to the long rods that I had before. One of the biggest things that I'm really trying to work on after moving my work out of my house is to keep it clean and well maintained, because before there'd just be so many videos to work on, and I would say that I'd probably clean it after that wave of videos was done, but year after year it was just always so messy. But the tool that I have to keep this place clean is the Dyson V11 outsize vacuum, which is their newest flagship model at the moment. The outsize model has 150% bigger bin than the standard V11 model, and just based on using the Dyson lineup since the V8 and the V10 and now the V11 and V11 outsize, I can tell you that this is one of the best accessories that actually makes cleaning a little bit fun. It also has a runtime of about 120 minutes, which is quite a bit more than what you get on the standard model, so you don't have to recharge it right away, and the kit also comes with a spare battery, which is super nice. So yeah, usually I try to at least vacuum the place a couple times a week, and yeah, just because we are talking about vacuums though, this is definitely not a tech product by any means, but because I watch TikTok all day, I thought I'd share like one of the few things that I've learned from it, and that is this tool right here. So this rug that I have is from West Elm, and I have it here and also in the office because I'm boring and just bought the same rug twice. The one thing though is that these rugs shed like crazy. It makes a huge mess all over the place. It pills, it like leaves like these lint balls, which is super annoying. So this tool right here is one on Amazon that is like under $10. It is just like a, I don't know, like a set of coils, but I just like go ahead and scrape the rug and it will bring all of the lint into a nice little pile for you to vacuum up. And for the next like week or two, you'll notice that the rug just like causes much less mess. So I think it's a really good maintenance tool, and I thought I would just share that as well. So now that we're in the kitchen, I've got to be totally honest with you guys, and it's the fact that I don't really cook at all. I actually tried for a little bit last year when everything was closed down and I didn't really have as much work to do, but it's just something that I'm not good at. And if I spend hours making a meal or like buying all these supplies, I end up messing it up and it just makes the meal not that worth it. So I've chosen to spend that time on work itself and instead getting the food figured out, whether it's skip the dishes or just going to my parents' house for dinner each night. This right here is a dishwasher. It is the Samsung one from the Chef Collection, and after it is done washing, it actually opens by itself by about 5 inches. So I throw the dishes in there, I forget about it. Once it's done, it will let all the steam out for it to dry a little bit better. And I thought that was just like a cool feature to have in a dishwasher. But I don't know, like for any other guy out there who's living by themselves, I just find like cooking for one person to be very difficult. And when you break down the cost per meal after having to buy all the bits and pieces and tools that aren't in the kitchen already, it ends up just costing more than doing something like a meal plan. So some of my favorite accessories that I have in the kitchen are actually on the coffee side of things. And I know there's a lot of options out there, and sometimes you just want like a simple coffee maker that is probably lower in price, but there are also some higher end accessories that can really make the experience fun each morning for your routine. So these are products that I actually really enjoy, and I've had this kettle for quite a while, and this grinder just showed up. But yeah, this kettle is super easy to use. It not only looks great, it is the Stag EKG, and a lot of my friends had it, which is when I saw it and decided to get one for myself. And you actually just go ahead and plug it in. There's a dial right here that allows you to set the temperature down to the specifics, and there's also a hold button on the back that retains the temperature for a period of time. So whenever you're doing pour over coffee, this makes things very easy. And for a kettle, it not only has like this nice classic look to it and the matte black that goes very well with this space in the office, but it also has the tech side of things to go with that. And the newest product in their lineup is the Fellow Ode grinder. And I actually saw their Kickstarter video about a year ago and just had my eye on it. And I just thought it was so cool. It just looks very different. It's super well built and fully out of metal. But most importantly, it is a really good coffee grinder because you have all the specific settings. It has 64 settings in total, and it lets you know like kind of the range of what you would like to set the grind size to. So yeah, you just put your coffee through the top, you set your weight, and you can set your grind settings, press the button in the front, and just empty out the extra pieces in there. But overall, it is just a very precise and high-end coffee grinder. If you make coffee every day, then this is definitely something that you should check out. If you guys have any like bean suggestions, make sure you let me know, but I'm definitely someone who has to drink coffee every single day, and I feel like checking out some of the tech accessories like this that not only look really, really cool in the kitchen, just makes it a lot more fun. This is not sponsored at all. I just really like these products a lot. So now that we're in the hallway, we're gonna take a look at the thermostat, and this is the new one from Nest. And for the most part, honestly, I haven't really noticed that big of a difference in terms of functionality, but it does look a little bit different. It has a bit more of a futuristic, holographic look on the screen with a reflective finish. And it also uses the Google Home app and doesn't work with the Nest app anymore because Google owns Nest, which is kind of unfortunate because I have quite a few other Nest accessories. So because I don't use the Google Home app very often, I sort of have to jump in between them, but I guess it's no big deal. But with a thermostat like this, you can just schedule them. It will try to optimize for cost savings in the power bill. It also knows when you're home and away and can set schedules based on that. It comes in 4 different colors, but obviously because my walls are like the whitest white, I went with the snow one, and it just seems to blend in very nicely. All the controls are actually on the side, so it is no longer a touchscreen or an active dial. But to be totally honest with you, if you're able to get the Nest Thermostat E at a good price, I think that one is actually a better option, just because I like the intuitive feel of being able to rotate the dial completely instead of having to use a little touch panel on the side. And I also feel like it attracts less fingerprints than this reflective one. But from a design perspective, being that futuristic look, I think the new redesign does make a lot of sense for the new Nest. So here we are in the home office, which probably saw the biggest change in the past year. So if you guys remember, the renovation of the whole place was in 2019, and one of the areas that it didn't make any changes to was the home office. I was still really trying to decide how I was going to do it and how we were going to optimize the setup for both filming and working. And one of the first things that I decided to do after purchasing the new office space and knowing that we were going to move the operations over was to really optimize the home setup. This is actually the master bedroom of the condo, so I sleep in the guest guest room, the first thing I wanted to do was to move the desk away from the wall. I feel like if you're sitting at your desk for many hours a day, staring at a big white wall that is like a couple feet away does start to feel a little bit strange. So I decided to pull the desk back, and after a lot of brainstorming, I went with an L-shaped desk that is also sit stand. So this is actually a set of legs from Uplift. You just go ahead and press the button and it will go up and down. It can hold a ton of weight. And on top of it, I have a desk that I had before from Beau Concept, and we had used that as my main desk for quite a few years. And I also added an IKEA Carlby countertop on the other side and just essentially built a custom desk out of it and just got the legs on their own. In terms of what I have from a tech standpoint on my desk, it is very much for video editing and production. And for a lot of people, it's gonna be overkill, but because I make my entire living on a computer and online, it does make a lot of sense. I also have a Thunderbolt hub right here, which has the SD card slot, all the Thunderbolt, the USBs, the USB Type-C, and also the Ethernet, and all the stuff can just plug right into that. I can easily access it. I have my card readers over here as well. And in terms of speakers, this is another area that I have made an upgrade in the past year or so, and that is the KEF LSX, which I have seen to be very, very popular. So these speakers are actually Wi-Fi based, and a lot of times people use them with record players and like hi-fi audio systems, but some also choose to use it with their computer. And what I can say is the computer setup is a little bit more complicated, because if you use a 3.5mm headphone jack and just plug it into your computer, they aren't actually gonna sound that good. And if you spent that kind of money on a pair of speakers, you definitely want it to sound better. So what I've actually added is a FiiO K3, and that is a digital audio converter that allows it to have more power and essentially unleashes the full potential of these speakers. And the FiiO K3 is like a pretty inexpensive preamp. If you guys want to get something more fancy, there's a ton of options out there, and the whole audio world has just so many choices. But I found that by using that setup, these speakers sound much better, but the best sound you're gonna get is if you use it in the Wi-Fi mode, and you can control all the settings from the app and also switch the input and everything from the remote that it also includes. So one of my favorite additions this year is the BenQ TK850 projector. And when I was trying to redesign this office, I ended up putting everything together and then was trying to figure out what we're really missing. And with the amount of space that I have above the monitor and between the wall, I decided that having either a TV or a projector up there would be super cool, because throughout the long editing sessions, it would be nice to watch like hockey or something, just to be able to have it on the background. And I feel like in this type of setup, the projector just seemed to make a lot of sense, because when it's off, the wall doesn't have this big piece hanging up near the ceiling. So yeah, this right here is a 4K projector. It is super bright, which is handy for a room like this where there are large windows and everything. So I do have blackout shades that I added midway through the year, but I honestly haven't really seen anybody do this same setup before. But I would say if you guys are working late nights, or if you're in a type of job that you're just like kind of always got something to do, then adding a projector and just having it play in the background can make things a lot more fun and distract you from the fact that you're editing like multiple hours a week after working the day as well. So on the other side of the desk setup in the office, I have a few other pieces that are just sitting on top of a console table. Funny enough, I bought this console table on Wayfair, ended up wrapping all of the shelves in 3M Dynoc because it had a gloss finish, and turned it into matte black. And then I took some of the remnants from my backsplash project over at the office and had them cut a piece that fits this table. So essentially I bought it for the frame, and every single other piece of this console table has been modified in some way, shape, or form. When it comes to the tech side of things though, there is a Sonos speaker. This is the original Playbar that I used to have in my living room, and I have this connected over to the projector. So when I'm watching like hockey or Formula 1 at 5 in the morning, my neighbors get to hear the race car driving by. This speaker overall just does a really good job, and even though it is quite a few years old, whether you're playing music or watching TV, it is still an excellent option. And I have also seen it on Facebook quite a bit at significantly lower than its original price. So if you don't want to make the jump over to the Sonos Arc and the beam might not be powerful enough, then this is still a really solid choice. So the other thing here is a light, and this is a Buster and Punch one. We've used a lot of their hardware, their lighting, and also even their whiskey cabinet. And although this has nothing to do with tech, what it does have to do with tech is the light switch or a smart plug that I have connected to it. So if you guys remember last year, I did a video of a Microloft, and in that video we showcased a set of 4 Miro smart plugs, and those come in at a price point of under $25 for a set of 4. And I can tell you, I've never been happier with a piece of tech, especially for smart home at that price point and how it works. Right here, I have the application, and all I have to do is just press the button. It will turn the light on and off, as you can see, and it is a smart plug on the bottom. If you want to manually turn it on and off, you can also do that as well. And you can also set different schedules and routines. So for right here, I have this turn on every day at 8 p.m. and I have it off at 12:30 a.m. And over at the office, we have the feature media light, and we also have the whiskey cabinet, and that is able to set to a schedule of 9:30 to 6:30 or whatever you want it to be. And each day I don't have to manually turn on the light, but I've tried a ton of home tech over the past couple of years, some of which work very well. Some of them are just really unreliable, but for the price point, in a set of 4, I really wasn't expecting that much, but I can tell you this one has never had a single problem, and especially when you have it on a widget in your homepage, it just makes things much easier, and it's essentially instantaneous from my experience. So definitely recommend this for a budget option. So now we're in the bedroom, and from the tech perspective, nothing has really changed that much in this space. The TV is one that I updated to a QLED model. I believe it is a 2020 version, and for the most part, it still has the One Connect system. It has the whole like I/O and all that separate from the TV itself, as well as the power. So all of that is down here. It's kind of hard to keep out of the way, but I have the 55-inch model. It is the same size as the living room. It has all the smart features, and below that we have a Sonos Arc, but it is in the white color. So the reason why I went with the white one here and a black one in the living room is because the black one is pretty much facing the sun, and so it doesn't show any fading or anything as much as the white one could over many years. You guys have already seen this last year, so I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but it just looks super clean against the wall and just very seamless. And I really only use this TV to watch Formula One in the morning because it's so early, and a lot of times you want to watch the start of the race and the end of the race and just like go back to bed in between. So I have it playing on this TV. Otherwise, the rest of this room is exactly the same. I have a Sonos One, the original model, on both sides with the alarm clock that is set to that. I also have them synced up so I can play some music in a stereo pattern. And some of the changes that I might make this year to the bedroom is I'll maybe add like some millworking or wainscoting to the wall, because right now it is just a large white blank wall with nothing at all. The whole room is white, but to be honest, I don't really care that much. It's a bedroom. I sleep here like 7 or 8 hours a day, and the rest of the time I'm either at the office or in the master bedroom editing videos and just at the desk. I also have a couple Philips Hue bulbs inside of a West Elm lamp, and one of the things I started using lately, because I started waking up a bit earlier, is the wake up function on the Philips Hue. So it's actually able to start turning on about 10, 20, or 30 minutes prior to when you want to wake up, and it just gradually brightens the room, because otherwise it is pitch black after adding some blackout shades last year as well. So yeah, I feel like that's like a good function. They also make like sleep lights that we've also shown on the channel. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit cheaper, then that is a solution for like 20 bucks. But if you happen to have Philips Hue in the bedroom anyways, then that is a feature that I found out about recently. So now, of course, we're in the bathroom, and I'm going to talk about some of the essentials that I use on an everyday basis when it comes to the tech side of things. And I try to keep my routine super simple. I do my hair in like under a minute, but because we are partnered with Dyson, we do have this fancy hair dryer, the Supersonic, that has been around for many years. I really like that they keep releasing limited edition colors because they look super cool. There's like a gold and blue one, a black one, but this one right here is a simple white one. So some of you guys have been watching for quite a while and have been asking how I've changed up my hair routine. So the way I do it, and the reason why my hair is not like as straight and weird looking from the side anymore, is because I use curling cream. Just like throw some on after I get out of the shower before I dry my hair. And then I would go like this and keep it at the 2 setting and just get it so that the hair sticks up to the way I like it. Takes like maybe 15, 20 seconds. And then I will go ahead and throw a diffuser on, which I didn't really know what a diffuser was until like this year. Never used one before. And I ended up just shaping it and molding the hair so that it has like a nice curl backwards and stands up the way I like. So for the most part, that is all done. And then I'll throw on this product that I've been using for quite a few years, and that is Blue Layrite. Just a matte cream. Just put a bit on around the hands and just run it through, and it just holds everything in place. But for the most part, all the work is done by the hair dryer, and more specifically the diffuser. If you guys want to see like a more detailed morning routine, make sure you let me know in the comments section below. But some of the other pieces that I use is just like this Babyliss shaver. My barber had it, recommended it, and it is a double foil shaver. I replaced the top and I couldn't find it in gold anymore, but it's no big deal. But yeah, this is just pretty easy to use. It is rechargeable, and it's what I use to shave this off every day because I probably don't look very good with a beard. Toothbrush, it is one from Bruush. I've had this for many years now and super self-explanatory. I mean, it just has like all these different modes here. Recharge it. You can get new heads for it on a subscription basis, but these are like the 3 products that I use in the bathroom when it comes to tech, and otherwise I don't really use or think I need anything else. So thank you guys so much for watching this year's home tech tour, where I show you guys some of the tech products that we've updated or what I'm currently using in terms of gadgets in my own place. I might do one for the office as well if you guys really enjoy it, but overall this has like kind of been a progression over the past couple years. I used to be someone who was really against home tech and I wasn't a huge fan of using it, but with some fine tuning and trying out the right products, we kind of figured it out, and I think the system that we have at the moment when it comes to tech is one that I really enjoy. The video editing and like the workflow side of things can always see some improvements, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you guys some ideas as well. And as always, all the products that I mentioned are going to be linked down below, and I'll see you all in the next one.